Alrighty, this is Ben Gookin here, and apparently everybody's doing in the bag videos for the Facebook group we've got going. So I'm gonna do an in the bag here real quick as well, starting with the actual bag. Got a Latitude 64 Pro bag. I play in wet, nasty weather, so right now it is absolutely filthy. Covered in mud and grime, if you can see that. It is a disaster, but that's the nature of the beast, playing in the mud here. I'm going to start out with, it's a great bag. I love it's a small thing, but the side putter pocket. You can put your putter away as you're walking away, just right inside, don't have to take your bag off. Favorite part of the bag, honestly. I got it for a good deal. When I was just starting to use Latitude discs, I didn't really buy it because it was Latitude. It just happened to be a good used bag for a cheap price from a friend. And at the same time I started throwing my Rivers around. Those were my first Lat discs, my Rivers and my Halos. But that's how I got that. Starting off with the most important part of the game, putters. I throw butt tons of the pures. This is my oldest pure. Just a zero line. It is money. I've not driven with this one a whole lot. I have driven a little bit, but it's beat in very nicely, mostly just on chains and basket. Not a whole lot of trees or any crap that's going to tear it up, so it's not really tacoed like a lot of zero line has the tendency to do, but at the same time it's got that nice seasoned zero line plastic feel. Not much gets better than it if you can manage to season it without totally tacoing the crap out of it. I've got my backup pure, a lot newer. This is my newest pure, actually, I believe. Breaking it in. Continuing with the putters, I do a lot of putter drives. I don't do as many mid-range drives, so I will do a few mid-range drives, but I kind of skip from putters up to fairway drivers on a lot of stuff that I do. My putters, though, excuse me if my discs are a little dirty. Like I said, play in muddy Oregon weather. Money disc, the putter driver for me. The one, the only Opto Pure. This is, when I say Opto Pure, this is the one right here. This is my favorite disc in my bag, completely, entirely, without a doubt. I have on it last summer, into fall, into winter a little bit, but mostly last summer, I canned 11 aces with it. Legitimate first throw aces in regular gameplay. I don't know how many practice aces. 3 of them were during league play. 2 of them were back to back. I mean, this disc is my disc. A lot of the ink is wearing out, but you can see there's all sorts of ink on there. Had to put some on the front. This, I've totally worn the stamp off of it from use. No stamp left on it. I didn't remove it intentionally, didn't try to remove it. This disc is money, and the Optoline plastic, despite the use and abuse, total abuse, this flies nice and stable, nice and straight for me. Up to 300 feet, it'll actually fade out still a little bit. It's still nice and stable. It's a putter. It throws with the controllability of a putter. You're not going to be off too much left or right. It's very forgiving that way. Throw it straight at the target, it goes straight at the target. Give it a little height, a little nose up, it'll go left. Keep it nose down and really juice it, it'll go right. It is the disc for any throw for me, inside of just a little over 300. That said, I have my backup Opto Pure. This is my second favorite Opto. I have a few different Optos, picked them out. This one complements the other one well. I like it. Moving on to Goldline. Heck yes, this disc is probably my second favorite pure. My main putter pure, my oldest pure, is in competition for that too. This thing is beastly. I use it a lot more for lines that you want to put right and keep right and stay right and just keep cruising right. Just give it a little nose down, a little snap. You can throw it straight out there for a long ways, and then when you think a normal disc would start fading out, it'll just start tracking right and just go. Give it just nose down. Important part is the nose down on this. You've got yourself a right shot. A right turning shot. It'll just keep going right and hold. If you get it up to speed, I mean, obviously if you're only throwing like 200 feet, it's going to fade out, but at like the 300 foot range, right all the way. Beautiful for that. Late turn, get it there. And again, all my discs are a little dirty since I just got done playing, but awesome. Awesome. GL Pure, the world stamp, love it. And just new to my bag, I was really looking forward to another Gold Line Pure that I could beat the crap out of and hyzer flip out to a little over 250. Don't know that I'd trust it more than that since I want to beat the crap out of it, have it as a hyzer flip putter, but these things are, I don't know if you can see real well, domey as compared to your typical ones. Kind of flat topish, definitely got a pop to it. Kind of the similar trend with this recycled plastic to the Innova EcoStar is that they have that kind of pop top on there, a little domier. With Latitude 64, that tends to mean increased low speed stability, which is the case. It flips a little more even than the Gold Line, but it fades out harder. So I don't know if this one's going to stay in the bag. I might have to wait for production when it's flatter, because it fades a little too hard for me to truly want to beat it in. Like I said, the thing I like about the World Stamp Gold Line Pure is that it has no low speed fade once you get it up to speed. This fades a little too hard. I'm gonna beat it in and see how it reacts once I do that. I don't really want to trash my World Stamp though. That disc is too pretty to trash. Moving into mid-range fairway driver. I normally have a couple of fuses on me, but I don't right now. I don't know where I put them. So, skip right on to warships. Okay, moving on to warships. Moving on to warships. I've said that like 7 times now. 2 of them, different ends of the spectrum. I only have 2 fuses, 2 warships for my mids. I don't really use overstable mids a lot. When I do, I kind of skip up to the fairway driver like I was saying earlier. I'll use a Trident, so lacking in the overstable mid there. The thing about the Trident though is it can be thrown at such low speeds that you don't really need an overstable mid. Anyway, about the warships. TP, it's the blue fleck according to Marshall Street when I ordered it. Just an understable complement to the VIP, which is a straight complement. Left turning complement, stable complement. Haven't thrown these a whole lot. I'm really liking them from what I have thrown. But from what I have thrown of them, they're way longer than your typical mid distances. I'm actually considering them almost fairway drivers, like 360 feet from a mid. Holy cow. So, these are glidey. They just get legs and go and stay up in the air. They're fast for mids too, so they're like Cobra distance in terms of mids, like breaking the mid-range boundaries, going for fairway driver distances almost. After that, I'm going into my rivers. This is a newer one. This is a newer one. This is my oldest one. This one started out super stable for a river, but since it's the Gold Line plastic, it's breaking in and it's starting to become more of a traditional what you'd use a river for. Let it go out there super straight with a little bit of hyzer, and then at the end it'll finish right. Nice stable opto here. High parting line height, good dome. It's 176, so it's a heavier one. With river, you're going to find that the parting line isn't as critical as it is in other discs, or I shouldn't say that, it's still very critical, but the parting line doesn't vary as much with other discs made by Latitude 64. You don't have to watch the parting line as much. You have to watch the dome, you have to watch the how intact the dome is. Some of them have weird domes that kind of buckle in places, and you have to watch the weight. Heavy, intact, big domed rivers tend to be super stable. So that's what this is right here. My stable, overstable, more like a beat T-bird fairway driver here. This one fades to right, and this one here is the regrind, the recycled river. It's a pretty one, but I'm going to beat the crap out of it and turn it into a roller. That's my plans for it. Then we have the Saints, my understable Saint, and my stable Saint, gold line, opto line, sparkle opto line, which surprised me that this one is so stable. Gold line, more understable, opto line, more overstable. The thing about this though, typically with Latitude 64 plastic, the sparkle plastic is much more understable. Especially I've noticed that in the Saints, the sparkle optos are very understable for opto. This disc, however, went out and surprised me by being the most overstable Saint I've ever thrown. I like it. It's awesome for, I can actually throw it fairly flat and expect it to come back left, which with most Saints, if you throw it on a low line, they're not going to come back left. This one I can expect to. Like I said, odd because it's the metal flake, and the metal flake is typically more understable. But it does seem to be a stiffer, more firm plastic. If that has anything to do with it. I can't notice a much higher parting line. It is higher, but not much higher. The dome isn't that much higher either. On to distance drivers, true distance drivers. I'm having terrible luck with true distance drivers right now. I don't really like 13 speeds, I've noticed, and that's pretty much the wheelhouse you're looking for. I'm just experimenting around, throwing just about everything I can find, trying to figure it out. I've never been a big fan of bosses or katanas. Can't make them feel right. A lot of the new legacy stuff is just super fat rims. Can't wrap my hands around it. I've loved the Halo for a long time, but I can't get Halos that I like. I had 2 of them and I lost them in the same day, so now I'm stuck looking for good Halos again. This is a good one that I found. Some of that cracked ice look with the whole shimmer effect going on. I had one like this that was one of my good ones that ended up throwing over the fence on my practice field and too dang far, and I couldn't get it back. Anyway, I'm not happy about that. Got one Halo in the bag right now. Looking for more good Halos, not finding them. And I tossed this back in my bag. It was an oldie but goodie. I loved the flow when it came out. I kind of got away from it, but I was loving it when it came out. Figured go back to it. Good idea. Flow in the domier, more opaque plastic like the first runs. Amazing, amazing discs. Very stable for what you'll see of flows now. Especially like the flat gold lines where you just flip them over. Very stable, very nice. Really starting to get back into this. You can almost throw them flat and expect them to come back left for flows. So that is where I stand with my bag currently. Definitely going to need to be making some changes here with some lost discs in the distance driver category, but maybe change up one of my pures to a production run to get the whole understable hyzer flip, because I'm not sure I'm going to be loving the regrind for that. We'll see. A few things I'm going to have to switch up. Anyway, that is what is in my bag.